Welcome to Deep Thought. Yeah, let me explain what this channel will be all about, right? I would call it something, an exercise in practical metaphysics, right? Now, when I say practical, right? Basically, we're going to get deeper into the underlying things that are going on with people, with society, with everything. This is going to be one of those things that look below the surface, right? Now, when I say practical, it's going to be something that everybody can get into. You know, it's not going to be any what some people would call like woo-woo, right? You know, it ain't going to be any magic formulas or anything like that, or something where you're going to sit on your head and all of a sudden you're going to get $1 million. Or I'm not even going to talk about stuff like people might know, like, you know, they'll talk about the law of attraction and all of that stuff, right? Because when you talk about practical metaphysics, it's like looking below the surface. It's going to be talking about the subconscious mind and getting into what's going on subconsciously. Now, just for those, who might practice maybe an Abrahamic religion or anything, every single religion has metaphysic or esoteric underpinning. And they have people who practice it. In Christianity, they are the Gnostics. Well, have we heard the word Gnostic before? In Judaism is the Kabbalah, and Islam is Sufism. And everybody has something where they go beneath the surface. Usually it's reserved for a smaller portion of the population. You have the masses that follow the outer forms, and then you have a smaller portion, usually learned men and women, who follow the inner thing because they're dealing with the subconscious. Now, a lot of stuff out there, I'm going to be honest with you, a lot of people get caught up in the tools to reach the subconscious or to learn how to look at stuff subliminally. Like meditation. Meditation is important, but then some people get too caught up in meditation. You know, they have like they got group meditations and they'll say, well, okay, you need to sit like this and all of that. And they get very good at it, but they really don't realize the purpose of it. Or they get into yoga, and, you know, yoga, especially in the Western culture, has become more of an exercise than what it was actually for. Or astrology. They'll look at all that stuff, and then, you know, they'll get into different writers and all of that. To me, all of that is useless. Like a book that is very metaphysical but very practical is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. If you read it, it is extremely metaphysical because it's going deep into your subconscious. You know, I want something. See, to me, if you're doing all these metaphysical exercises and stuff like that, and you're still broke, you're still poor, you barely making it, you don't have great relationships, or especially if you don't have great relationships, what you're doing is useless. Now, deep thought. What I'll be doing is looking at I'm going to be doing a combination of things. Now, you know, even though I said something about exercises, depending on the flow, I might give some exercises that people can do, right? But the thing that everything will be pointed towards is thinking. See, the greatest gift is the ability to think, the ability to look at something, the ability to really be conscious of what you're doing and why you do stuff. That's metaphysics, in my opinion. That's what I look at. You know, you get a lot of people who just do, you know, they can't figure out why they can't make money. They do like this astrology and, you know, they'll say, well, I'm this, and, you know, the moon is in Saturn or something like that. Or, you know what, we did this thing where we did this fire breath and all of that. But subconsciously, they're still messed up because they're not thinking. All of that stuff is to help you to think better, to help thoughts flow better, you know? And also using it to navigate life. Like, I'll be doing a lot of stuff where I have one video I'm going to do. It's going to be called the Metaphysics of Maury, because I'm going to be looking at the underpinnings of what's going on, the subliminal stuff. That's going to be the main thing. That's going to be the main thing. And it's something, regardless of the spiritual path that you take or your philosophical path. I mean, you could be an atheist, but you can still think, because that subconscious is still there. That's the one universal, whatever form of deity you believe in, whether you believe in like waving your hand over somebody and they feeling energy, whatever you believe, the one thing we can agree on, there's something below the surface. And I've had people try to argue with me, but the reality is most people are not conscious of what's going on inside of them. You know, they ain't conscious of that part. They ain't conscious why they're doing stuff. Or then they're not conscious also of how you have somebody outside of you influencing your behavior. Like when you get into like the deeper aspects, they don't go for that fluff. They're like, okay, this is what you have to do to work on that subconscious. That's metaphysics for me. Because you think about it, the best analogy is the iceberg. When you see that iceberg coming out, I don't care, it could be a mile high. And you still only seeing the tip of it. Because the biggest part of it is below it, which is about 5 miles down or something. You know, that's a big chunk. But see, that big chunk is controlling people's behavior. You know, and then you, like on one level, that's controlling someone's behavior. So they're not really even steering their own ship. And they can't figure out, well, why I keep running into this type of man or woman, or how come I can't keep a job? And, you know, most people don't look within, they look without. Well, I'm going to tell you how to look within and to think about it. But also, too, you have forces out there. And see, I shouldn't say this because I had somebody even tell me, somebody might try to snatch the channel, but I have to be real. You got different forces out there. People call them Illuminati. Some people call them aliens. Or they doing this. But their biggest thing is not controlling people through a gun or forcing them. Their biggest thing is they figured out how to get into your subconscious to get you to do stuff. See, I'm going to tell you what, I'm going to start pointing out little things they're doing. Like, for example, right, I was looking at one of my videos, right, and usually I at least look at my commercials. I was like, look, if every time I upload a video, I will sit and watch it, even though I know the content. Because I want to catch I want all the commercials to play through. Well, except for that long 10-minute video where that guy's trying to tell people how to do something on the internet. I sat through it once. I'm like, you know what? I'll just miss the money on that one. And y'all have my permission. If y'all come across that, unless you're interested in the subject matter, just go through it. And really, I could probably go through that and break down some stuff. Because there's a lot of subliminals in there. There's a lot of subliminals everywhere, right? But you got a lot of people, you got a lot of forces out there who they planting stuff in, or they trying to figure out. Now, what I started talking about was this, this advertisement for opinions that was given by Google, right? And I know somebody on Google, they probably, this first video, they ain't going to really watch it. I don't have enough views or anything to monetize it with. So they're not going to watch it. So I'm going to say this, all right? They say, yeah, you can get a little bit of money just for answering opinion surveys, right? And I'm like, if you look below the surface, and this is an example of what I'll be talking about on this channel. If you look below the surface, I'm like, all right, you're going to pay some people just for their opinion. But see, nobody does that. But see, once they pay it, they have your information, you answer different things here and there. They just paying you to get a look into your subconscious. See, they pay attention. You have all types of analytics and all of that that's looking at where you're going on the internet, what you're going to buy, and they handing that to somebody. That's just on a basic level. Now, someone with more nefarious things, they can look at what you buy and everything and tell you everything about your personality. Now, a mentor that I've mentioned a lot on my other channel, Master Yao, and that's a powerful metaphysician. I remember, I never forget, he said he could walk in somebody's closet, look at their clothes, and tell you everything about their personality. That's the type of stuff I'm going to be talking about. And even, the deep subliminal thing, even if someone ever sits through in my entire video and looks at my, my credits, you notice I always have a black background and red letters. That's some powerful stuff. And see, it's a lot out there. See, I'm going to be talking about on different levels, like pimps. There's a lot of pimps that do, some of the stuff they do is deeply metaphysical. And, I'll be talking about stuff like that. I'll also be looking at political things and what's going on below the surface. Because there's a lot of subliminal stuff that happens politically. There's a lot of stuff. And to understand something also about another thing about metaphysics, it's just, it's just a matter of you don't know what's going on below the surface. There's a lot hidden. The process which someone figures out money in the banking system is metaphysical. In fact, there's this comic book I was reading, and it was some straight stuff where they were doing all this metaphysical stuff to cause crashes and everything. But you look at it and read it, and you know what to look for. You're like, oh wait, that makes sense. It's all there. I could say, okay, if people eating a certain type of food, this is how they're gonna behave or they're gonna respond. It's all there. It's a practice. It should be seen as a science, but of course, it might seem like magic or something crazy because you don't know how it's working. It's like somebody getting in a car. And, it can do all this stuff. It can get a radio station and all that stuff. And, you got the car running. But most people don't know the process. A good mechanic, they're metaphysicians because they know the process is inside of a car. And that's all we talk. We're going to look under the hood on ourselves. And we're going to look under the hood at different events. In fact, I might even... I've done a little bit of that just with... reviews of Insecure. There's a lot of stuff there. In fact, I could almost grab any TV show and say, all right, this was really going on below the surface. All right? Because as I said earlier, the greatest of gift, the greatest power is the ability to think. And the reality is most people don't think. In fact, one of the videos I'm going to do is that whole thing of being woke. Most people, even if they think they woke, they're not woke. Because I can point out some in it when I do that video. In fact, I think that'll be the next one. When I do that video, what I'm gonna point out is the obvious. Nah, you're not woke. You got some information, but you're not woke. Yeah, I'm gonna say that. So you know what? I might say some things that, like I said, this is going to be something that's going to challenge people. It's going to get them to think. And I welcome people who are thinkers more so than anything else. Not people who just blindly follow anything. I welcome thinkers. I welcome constructive comments that might disagree with any viewpoints that I have. And when I say disagree, don't be like, oh yeah, Rom, you just wrong. You wrong, Rom. And it's like, no. Just say, okay, Rom, I have to respectfully disagree. This is my point. This is what I've seen. Or this is what I've studied. I definitely invite the people who are on a deeper level. And when I say deeper, can go into it deeper and have a perspective, on some stuff. I definitely invite that. Let's, we can learn together. I just want one thing. I want the videos or podcasts to really be catalyst. I want it to be catalyst for some real discussion, some real learning, And I want people to feel free to present some stuff, And, if you're a person, you got a channel or something that you discussing some deeper aspects of whatever, and it's practical, it works, bring it. Come on, I'll allow the links and everything. I want to get that. Eventually we'll get to the point where I'll get around to getting a decent camera for Hangouts. Yeah, well, I'll get a decent camera for Hangouts and we can really do some stuff, right? So anyway, that's it. Welcome to the channel. Keep rising and transforming. Peace.